And now, here's a guy who really ought to be saving his breath for his inflatable date.
You're the most ridiculous.
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Thank you, Johnny. Welcome to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily podcast about news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. That's right, this is the Eric Zane Show podcast. How are you? What's going on? Got a little bit of a different setup today. I'm committing to one feed on Facebook. Thanks to Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid for sponsoring the Facebook page, where we are live right now on Facebook. Not to mention live on Periscope/Twitter, brought to you by Blue Frost IT. So if you want to see the Eric Zane Show podcast as well as hear it when it actually happens, right now this is live, okay? And also on YouTube, just search Eric Zane Show on YouTube. And not only is it live, but everything flying out of my face, the audio is being recorded for the audio podcast found at ericzaneshow.com. Subscribe, and please throw 5 stars at me. As well, I'm on Instagram. Follow there, too. Just search Eric Zane Show. It's brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, who is just a tremendous soul, Mario. Mario, also, if you don't know, he owns the West Michigan Ironman football team, the arena football team in Muskegon, which has a season ticket holder by the name of one Stu McAllister. Stu's a huge fan. I was talking with him on the Patreon about him and his support of that team, and he's gotten to be he's got a bunch of the players that are like friends of his. So that first game comes up next week. Now, I have a section. It's a small section. I can fit about 10 to 15 people. And you can go. I've got tickets for that for every single game. And I don't yet have all the details worked out, but I'll have this ready to go next week. If you want to go to those games, I can get you in my little open air suite, if you will. And that's like the Zane Zone at Mercy Health Arena, formerly L.C. Walker Arena. If you have not been in that place, they just did a hell of a job at renovating it. It is so sweet. They got that Rad Dad's, that taco place there, and that place is awesome. I'm really, really impressed with what they've done there. So those games start next week. So I'll be giving away those tickets, and you can be part of my group free. Thank you to the West Michigan Ironmen. I also am working on a special ticket deal where if you are a listener of this show, you click on a link and you get the ticket. Normally they're, I think, $14 and $17 for those tickets for one ticket. So it's very affordably priced. You can get it for like $10 only if you click on a link that I am having created for you right now by the folks at Star Tickets with the West Michigan Ironmen. So that's going to be awesome. And I'll be down there at field level. Hopefully Diane will be there. You know, I think it's half off drinks for her, so she'll be like, woo, White Claw, yeah, woo, trying to take home a football player. Like, come on, get in the car. Get in the car, you floozy. What are you doing? We're going out on I talked about this yesterday. We're going out on a hot date tonight, man. The sushi's going to be flying, and I'm not talking about in the bedroom. Oh, boy. Could barely get it out. I'm going to gorge myself on sushi. Now, normally, 4 rolls is just a little bit more than we can handle. I'm going to buy 6. I'm going apeshit crazy on the sushi. Yes! It's Friday, you Catholics. Don't you dare eat meat. Go to your local church. Holy Redeemer has the best damn fish fries around. They're making them a little pricey these days, those fish fries. All the Catholic churches. Seriously, I know it's all you can eat, but it shouldn't be more than like $5, right? I mean, come on. But anyway, over at our place, all the Reformed Church folks, that's the only time of the year that they'll go into a Catholic church, and that's to eat the fish on the Friday fish fry. Today's that day, first Friday of Lent. All systems go so far. I haven't done any of my major sins yet since Lent started. Diana's leaving me tomorrow. You folks have asked me about an update on the Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers are Diana's brothers. And all the three have, Diana, David, and Kevin, is each other. An extended family. Mom and Dad passed away some time ago. And they've got a really unique scenario because they live together, and they always have. It's like David has always helped Kevin. Kevin is the older one with epilepsy, who had a very, very severe, he had a horrible case of epilepsy, and he was cured of it with a kind of a radical procedure at the time where they actually cut your brain in half. I'm not making that up. So the center of your brain, there's like a fissure or a canal there, and then it's right hemisphere, left hemisphere. They found out that the trouble was electrical impulses on his brain that was arcing over from one hemisphere to the other. So they cut it in half, and it was pretty extreme, and he hasn't really had seizures at all since then. It kind of cured him of it, but as you would expect, that's a pretty intense thing. So there was some personality struggles that went on that kind of came with that after the fact. So the boys are now retired. Both of them are kind of just living, if you will. And Diana made a commitment to them recently, and she goes once a month to actually see the Doobie Brothers. They're about, I would say, I think Kevin is about 60 years old, and I think David is like 57. I cannot believe they're that old. Everybody's getting old, including me. Man, I swear to God, I do not feel like I'm aging. I know I am. I'll be 50 in July. But I keep running into people who are like in their mid-30s, and I can't believe it. I can't believe that those people are getting to be that age, and I always get this strange, weird feeling that they're catching up to me in age, but that's impossible, obviously. And I don't know why, what makes it so that I feel like I'm not kidding you. I actually feel like I'm not aging, and not because I feel overly good or not because I feel like I'm some type of machine or anything like that. I just haven't really contemplated and considered the fact that I am actually aging. Very, very strange to me. I think I need help. All right, I spoke with Phil yesterday from the band Wayland. I got a text. He says, hey, did you see my last text? And I hadn't. So I looked at it, and I saw what it was. And it was an announcement for an upcoming concert by Wayland coming up on Friday, April 24th. Now, the intersection in Grand Rapids has several different spots where people can perform, and one of them is called Elevation. And honestly, I don't know which one is which. I think there's one called The Mint, there's one called Elevation, there's one called The Stash, and then there's the main room. Wayland on the April 24th show is in Elevation. And it's been years since I've had the opportunity to do this. But Phil asked me, good old Eric, if I would be able to introduce them on the stage for that concert. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's been so long. I haven't really had that luxury in forever since I got out of radio. First I got out of, when I got away from GRD and got onto BBL, Wayland still had, Wayland still had a support crew for music in West Michigan. But a few things happened. and it happens. I don't know. Well, JT was the one who got the ball rolling, as you know, with Waylon. And he was all in on that band. And I would guess he still would be if he were still at GRD. JT's in Detroit right now. But then there was a program director on GRD, a guy by the name of Johnny Walker, who also became a fan of the band. So he would support the band on GRD, like play their music. Now this guy named Tommy comes in, who I honestly am, I don't know what happened, but all I know is that when this guy Tommy interviewed for the job at GRD, when Johnny got the job, this guy Tommy came in, and I sat in a room with this guy, with Greg and Chris, and because we obviously, Freebird Hot Wings show, I hate to say it, but we had a lot of pull. And we sat down in front of this dude, and then he left, and then our boss said, "What do you think about him?" And we said, "Not in a million years. No matter what you do not hire him. Not impressed. Not a fan. No, no, no. Avoid, avoid, avoid." Well, now that guy somehow got the gig there at GRD. So either he completely changed his interview skills and improved them, or Free Beer and Hot Wings were not included in the hiring process, because that dude was not the guy when we sat down with him, however many years ago that was. But the reason why I'm going down this trip of memory lane is because this guy, he doesn't give two shits about Waylon. He is not interested in any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, well, I'm still interested in you. You know I love you. I'll do anything you want. I'll go to hell and back for you guys. You're like family to me. So, yeah, I was just, hell yeah, I'm second choice, but I'll take that. I'll take that any damn day. Those guys had to do what was right. Waylon needed all the support they can get from the radio. When they stopped getting it, I'm okay with that. But so what I'm doing is I'm encouraging all of you, and I'll post a link in the comments of this podcast about how to get tickets. And I told Waylon, I go, I'm giving you full support from now until the day of the show, because I want as many people as there as possible. I'll be there. I've already got it down on the calendar. I circled it. April 24th for Waylon at Elevation, part of the intersection. Okay. All right, so you got that. I deliberately today did not want to go right into coronavirus, but this is again dominating, and it seems like every day there is something new. I'm not really sick of the story because, first of all, it's interesting. Second of all, it's real. And, a lot of people are pretty freaked out by this. I will say that as we do talk, this more than likely is not going to kill most people. Like we said, a 2% mortality rate is not enough to make you go, oh, my God. Now, if we're talking about an extreme number, well, then, yeah, I can totally see it. But that is not slowing things down like the markets. Investors, they get jittery when things like this happen, and markets become unstable, and people with money pull their money out of things in fear that they're going to lose their money, which in effect makes the market, it makes it so other people lose money. You see how that is? Very, very strange. But the market took a shit yesterday. 1,200 points. Now, when you have enormous jumps in the heights that it's achieved, 30,000 or that ballpark of, yes, you will see the biggest drop in history when something like this happens. So that's kind of what did happen. So yeah, that's not great. I'm not an investor, but I did talk to the guy who I have money with. I socked money away in a personal retirement account, and He goes, yeah, nobody touches their money. You don't move. You just, in fact, we buy more. Everything's dirt cheap right now. We're going to buy the shit out of everything. So I guess from my own little corner of the world, that's what he's telling me. So hopefully things will stabilize. But this disease, this virus is not. And then the talk about the woman in California who got sick. And there's talk about how she may have been involved somehow getting this virus through the moment when the people came off of the plane who were like detained in China or detained on the cruise ship or whatever the fuck, and they show up in the U.S. on the plane, and then the people that are with them as they get off the plane, they don't have the masks on. No one's checking temperature, and so these workers could very easily have been exposed. In fact, this all came to light because a whistleblower raised his or her hand and said, yeah, common sense would dictate that if you're interacting with these people who are on the front lines who have the virus or could have the virus, we don't know, why would you not take extreme precautions so that when they come off, they don't infect anyone else who unknowingly then could transmit the disease to another person? It's all very, very murky and weird. But my God, another day of this as we deal with the coronavirus. The Eric Zane Show podcast open. Wait a second. Before I get to that, I have more on the coronavirus. Sorry, I got distracted there. Locally, there's a team of like investigative reporters at Wood TV 8. Well, every station's got them. There's one in particular, Susan Samples. She is a badass. And she got tipped off that a local hardware store in and around, not far from where I live, Allendale is a community right next door. This hardware store was taking their 20 packs of those masks and taking one out and putting it in a Ziploc and putting a price tag of $10 for each one. This is the old panic price gouge. At least that's what it seems like up front. Now, there might be a little more to it. I think the hardware store has an out here, but it did lead to some raised eyebrows, and the investigative reporter showed up there to do her work. Check this out.
And if you're thinking about picking up one of those face masks as an extra precaution just in case, don't be surprised if they're priced higher than you expected. A tipster to Target 8 convinced that the price gouging, in fact, is already underway. He sent us a picture of it, one face mask in a Ziploc bag for $10. So we sent Target 8 investigator Susan Samples out to check it out.
First, I should tell you the CDC is not recommending that healthy people wear face masks, and there are still no cases of coronavirus in Michigan. Still, there has definitely been a run on those masks, and that's raising concerns that retailers may try to profit from the panic. We went searching for the truth at True Value in Allendale. That's where the tipster said she spotted an oddly packaged dust mask. We got a call from a customer who was concerned that this is $9.99. $10 for one mask that usually comes 22 a box for less than $30.
Here's your 20 pack for $28.99.
And here's the reasoning behind breaking up those 20 packs, says General Manager Chad Ayers.
So what's happened is we had 20 packs. We had singles. We had 3 packs. Everything was being wiped off the shelf. You know why, right? It was getting put online and sold at higher retails.
Ayers wanted to stump the scalper and says he had to make sure they had enough masks left for people who really need them, True Value's core customers like local farmers. Do you understand why some people might think that looks bad, actually?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Ayers said the $9.99 was actually just a deterrent in the aisle. In reality, they still charge regular customers the old price for a box of 20. And on those singles, when they get to the register, they I sell them for a lot less than $10, actually.
We notified our team and said, hey, when they come to the front and they ask questions around the pricing, then we can sell them because we'll truly know it's a person that needs a dust mask. I don't want to pay $10 for a dust mask. You don't want to pay $10 for a dust mask.
$10.59.
But I did pay that $10 at the register before this interview. And when I asked the cashier later, did you know that you were supposed to sell single ones to people for a lower price than $9.99?
She's all confused.
That was a no,
She
in
said
case
no.
you couldn't hear her. Ayers said they informed the employees by email just in the last day. The cashier said she hadn't checked her email yet. Late this afternoon, Ayers told me they've made a change. The sticker price for one of these is still $9.99, but now it rings up at the register as $6.99. By the way, no one is saying these masks will protect you from coronavirus, not True Value and not the CDC, though the federal agency does say N95 masks, which this is, will filter out 95% of particles in the air, large and small. Back to you.
Okay, I don't believe a bit of this, and here's why. Because if you really wanted to deter the hackers, all you do is where those masks are on the shelf, say masks are at the cashier's desk in individual packages or whatever, and if you are going to break them up, if you're breaking them up to keep people from buying a ton of them, go ahead and break them up, sell them one at a time, and do the math appropriately. So if you have $29 for 20 of them, price them accordingly, and then go ahead and put them in the individual bags, but you have to sell them one at a time for that low price behind the counter. So if somebody comes up and says, hey, can I get a mask? All right, yeah, it's $1.50. Here you go. Give them the $1.50. Or the guy gives you the $1.50, you give him the mask, and then if he comes back in to buy another mask, say no. It's that simple. You can't just say, oh, yeah, it's $10 for these, but and then hope that through like a mind reading they get the right idea. I don't know, man. It sounds fishy to me. You knew it was going to happen, though. People get all worried. I don't want to see somebody walking around with a mask. Okay? If you're thinking about it, don't do it. Don't walk around with a mask. You're just going to contribute to the hysteria. Don't be ridiculous. When we on the next segment, man, I'm telling you, two things. First of all, they're getting hammered with snow in upstate New York in a way like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's like biblical. And video of an NFL player at the NFL Combine or a hopeful NFL player is at the NFL Combine is taking the internet by storm. I can't wait to play and describe for you what happened. But the Open, brought to you by Tag CPA, the Tax Hobbit, Tag Accounting. Troy is a CPA. A lot of people are like, I didn't know Zane. Well, I've told you 1,000 times he's a CPA. Jesus, his website's tagcpa.net. What do you think? He's like making it up? Call him at 616-301-9516. Very short-lived. We're getting ready to wrap up the ad campaign for Troy because, this is the busy season for him, and he's loaded down with work thanks to you. But there is still time for the end of this week. So I guess that'll be today, maybe on Monday, to call and make an appointment, 616-301-9516. If you haven't, by then, you're out of luck. Good luck doing it on your own or having some jerk do it. Horizon Hydroponics. They make it so if you want to grow stuff indoors, it's easy for you and fun. Everything for the indoor gardening enthusiast is at Horizon Hydroponics. There are tons of shops throughout the area. They are the go-to. They've been doing it for 20 years, making it so that you can expertly grow stuff indoors. Horizon Hydroponics, HORIZEN, hydroponics.com. Now, of course, in Michigan, it's perfectly legal to grow cannabis. If you've always wanted to do that, well, they're going to make it so you've got the biggest stalks, the biggest buds, the stickiest of the icky. Horizon hydroponics. Or if you want to grow a tomato or a cucumber to make a nice salad, perhaps some marigolds. Okay, keep the bunnies away from your outdoor garden. You get what I'm talking about. They got 4 locations: Lansing, Kalamazoo, on Alpine and Grand Rapids, and Byron Center, Michigan is the Growers Outlet. Call them at 866-791-1664, HorizonHydroponics.com. Lake effect snow in New York is wreaking havoc on like 3 cities. Like as we speak. Horrible blizzard conditions being described as a fire hose of fierce snowfall aimed at like 3 small towns in upstate New York. 60-mile-an-hour winds, absolute catastrophic blizzard is dumping 4 feet of snow. Parts of the what's known as the Tug Hill Plateau, which sounds dirty, just north of Syracuse, New York. 4 feet of lake effect snow. You got that massive lake. Which one is it? Erie? Ontario? I'm pretty sure it's Erie. Well, it's long. It's a long-ass lake. And the system that came through here in Michigan that we didn't really get anything, well, it started to peter out, but then it gets over that water and gains all this moisture, and then when it hits land, it dumps it. That is the mystery and the miracle of lake effect snow. Some of you don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I think it's Lake Ontario, actually, according to what I'm looking at now. 4 feet of snow. It says that if you drive like just down the road, the 50 inches of snow that they got in these towns flurries 15 miles to the south. Flurries. Wow. It says that a winter storm, which brought nothing more than a modest snowfall of just a few inches to the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and Northeast, is just picked up so much energy. It's absolutely epic. You know, Stu used to live in Buffalo. He used to experience this shit on a regular basis. Man. 4 feet of snow just like that. It actually listed the towns. I forget. I think Watertown is one of them. That's the only one that I recognized. At times, snowfall rates from the event were topping 5 inches an hour. Oh, my God. Yikes. The Tug Hill Plateau is known for massive snowfalls. In 1997, the city of Montague, New York, in 24 hours, received 6.4 feet of snow. Over a 10-day period in 2007, the town of Redfield, New York, picked up 12 feet of snow. Come on. And during the winter season of 1976, 1977, it's getting worse. The town of Hooker, New York, got 39 feet of snow during the winter season. Oh, my God. Syracuse only gets a few inches. How would you like to live in a place where you're getting 40 feet of snow? That's a 4-story building worth of snow in the winter. I mean, how the fuck do you cope with that? My God, last night we got like a dusting and it was slick and I was worried. I was like, oh no. Holy shit. The most snow I ever saw was when I lived in New Jersey. I saw it was about 24 inches of snow in nearly 2 days, which is crazy because where I live right now, you're supposed to get a hell of a lot more snow than most places in the United States, but nothing like that. I'll never forget that snow. You couldn't. It was the community on the Jersey Shore was paralyzed. We couldn't do shit. Damn it. There's video going around, and I'll link it up in the comments of the podcast. And as always, it's found in the news at ericzaneshow.com. A couple of videos here, actually, which I'm going to describe to you. All these wannabe NFL players are doing their thing at what's known as the Combine. They show up there, and they show how fast they can run, how well they can catch, how far they can throw, how high they can jump. By the way, a wide receiver from Michigan by the name of Donovan Peoples-Jones, love that name, his vertical jump, so you just stand there and you see how high you can touch these little wickets. He jumped 44 inches. In the video, when he jumps, it looks silly how high in the air he is. He's so high up, he has time to look down to make sure he's going to stick the landing. You know you've got some real physical ability if you're that high in the air and it seems like you're away from the earth for an extended time. It actually looked like that. So that's actually pretty big, and it's one of the rarest jumps that they'd ever seen in the NFL Combine. By comparison, NBA legend Dominique Wilkins, who used to be able to jump through the gym and dunk the basketball, his vertical leap was 42 inches. And Michael Jordan, the highest vertical jump of all time, according to what I researched, 46 inches. This guy was like 44.4. And now he said he wants to play for the Lions, which you may be able to jump, but you're stupid. What the hell is wrong with you? Nobody says, I want to play for the Lions. All right. This guy is, I don't even know where he went to school, but some dude by the name of Mitchell Wilcox. And the drill goes like this. They go, go! And then he looks to his right, and there's a football flying at you, shot out of one of those, like jugs machine, not jugs machines, but you like set the football in it, and these two rubber donuts spin, and it's just like a pitching machine for baseball, but for footballs. So the ball flies at you at a certain rate of speed. It's coming in hot. And you catch the one, and then you immediately pivot to the other side, and you catch that one, and then you're off and running. Now, you take probably 4 steps, and there's another ball that's going to come in hot, and you got to get your hands up and catch it while you're running across the field. And I don't know what happened to Wilcox, if he forgot that there was that one on its way, but he didn't look right, and he did not put up his hands, and that ball at, I don't know, 60, 70 miles an hour, it hit his face. I mean, it was a kablamo, and you actually hear him go, oh, and a couple of the people in the crowd, you hear, oh. And then he continued on throughout the drill. Now he proceeded, he probably doesn't have the ability to speak anymore after the concussion set in. But he then continued running across the field, dropped a couple more balls. It looked like shit, but he did power through it. A lot of people are saying he blew his chance at the NFL, which is crazy because of that performance. But you'll kind of have to listen for it. He catches the 2 balls, and then so you'll hear that's 1 catch, that's 2 catches, and then kablamo, and then the reaction. It's subtle, but you can hear it. The announcers, Rich Eisen and a couple other dopes, I think it was the coach of the Titans, are talking while this is happening, so they're not paying attention to this.
Of the team that potentially ended the Brady-Belichick era, what would you have said to that statement?
Yeah. Okay, it translated. I was wondering how it would translate, but it did translate, and you could hear the smack, and you could hear the oh. So let's listen to that again.
Of the team that potentially ended the Brady-Belichick era, what would you have said to that statement?
I mean, it was bad. Make sure that when you see it, I'll actually not only put it in the comments, but I'll tweet it out and put it out on Facebook later and then link it up so you can be reminded of seeing that and looking at it. One more video I found to be remarkable. It was listed as "This is incredibly satisfying," and I don't know what it is about videos like this. I think this is on the level when CBS.com wrote it's incredibly satisfying. It's the same type of satisfying as when you see like you know how like women like to pick zits on dudes, and if you ever do have a big blackhead on your face, and you're like, for me, whenever I'm able to get that thing out, and then it actually happens, and you see that hole in your head, to me, I'm like, yeah, I love that. So I don't really get blackheads anymore. So I kind of wish I did, so that I could dig around on my face. I know it sounds terrible, but that's the truth. This video was listed as oddly satisfying, and I would especially imagine it to be oddly satisfying to women because of the reasons that I just talked about. But what you got here is at a small animal hospital somewhere in, I think, New Zealand or Australia or something like that, and some hot chick who owns a lot of snakes, she's got a big-ass python snake, and the stupid python ate a beach towel. So dumb snake is going to die. In the video that you'll see, they are, with the team, are holding open the mouth of this poor snake. And I don't like snakes, but I felt bad for this snake, and I was rooting for the snake. So maybe there is some love for snakes in my being, because I felt bad for this one that it was going through this. But I felt good when they were able to extract the towel. Man, I'm telling you, you won't believe it, because they have this forceps in its mouth, and they're able to slowly get it out so you can see the towel sticking out of its mouth now, and they're holding the snake's mouth open, and then they kind of get a forefinger, an index finger, and a thumb, and a medical instrument, and they start to slowly remove that thing. And I'm like, don't do it too hard. You're going to turn that snake inside out, man. Now, these pythons, they can eat elephants. It's not out of the question to see a python, a big python, eat some crazy, crazy creature, and then it doesn't have to eat for 40 or 50 years. But it's not going to digest the towel, no way, no how. So they're pulling it out, and this is the reaction as these ladies, I think they had orgasms.
Wow. Don't put the tube. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Yay! Thank you! That's huge!
Oh, they're so happy. You got to see this. I'll link it up. And then the snake, when they got it removed, they let him go gently in his mouth closed, and he was like, oh, thank God. Holy shit, man. I don't know what I was thinking. That was just bad. Thank God that you people with those things called hands. Oh, this snake, if this snake could write a letter to PETA endorsing the human race, then the snake would. The snake would write, Dear PETA, you got to lay off these humans. They are doing great things for the animal world. Look at what they did to me. I'm so stupid that I slithered upon a beach towel, and because I'm a moron, I ate the beach towel. So Ingrid Newkirk, you must lay off of these humans. You must let them rule over us, because if they did not rule over us, I would be trying to shit out a beach towel, and I'd be dead. So please, lay off the human race. Do you watch the show Shark Tank? I like the show. I really do. I forget the lady's name with the short hair. She's super rich. And, well, man, she got scammed like you wouldn't believe. This is kind of embarrassing, but, I mean, not really, because she was tricked and duped. And wait until you hear how someone who would you would think would be really, really savvy was just taken for a ton of money. My gosh. Perfect opportunity to talk about how it's time that you take your money and use it wisely on, a piece of property or a home. You know what you need? A mortgage. You're like, I can't get a mortgage, Zane. Come on, man. All right. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we let an expert hear what you have going on and let that person try to figure it out for you? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I got to get out of the way of the sign. Make sure. Sometimes I'm like not positioned strategically in this room, so you can't see the sign. It's this guy right here. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Established in 1987. And then it says NMLS number 3035. I don't know what that is, but I hear all the time on these ads for people that are in Mario's line of work that they got to provide that, or else, like somebody will kick your ass. So that's why they do that. But I don't care about that. All I care about is that you stop spending your money on some slumlord for a shitty piece of property and you hate living there. How about living in your own home that you can fix up like I don't do? Call Mario at his desk today, 231-332-6505. Hell, just call him to tell him thanks for sponsoring the podcast. He's helped breathe life into the show. Thank you. 231-332-6505. And if he doesn't pick up, leave him a message. He'll call you back. Make sure you tell him that you listen to the show. As you know, I've got a number of key sponsors, and Terrytown RV is also included in that. They are on Division Avenue between 68th and 76th. It's freezing out right now. It's cold as hell here in West Michigan. But it's not too early to start shopping for a travel trailer, fifth wheel, or a motorhome. Hell, even a pop-up. They got those too at Terrytown RV, the biggest selection in all of Michigan and all of the Midwest, and the only facility with an indoor facility with 200 units for you to look at. You can also shop online at terrytownrv.com. Thank you. The hell is this lady's name from Shark Tank? Shark Bite. Shark Bite. Chop chop. Something Corcoran. She's and if you're not familiar with the show, you get people who have an idea that they want some financial muscle behind them, and they go up to the Shanks. They go up to the Sharks. Mark Cuban, the bald guy, the guy who dyes his hair, is way handsome. The chick and the black guy, those are the people. Mark Cuban, handsome guy, bald guy, chick, black guy. Try to get him to commit money. So she's like, maybe I'll throw some money at you. You got to include me 25% on the gross. What do you say? We'll do it for 3 years. Okay, you got a deal. Check this out. She got scammed.
I've got a very important warning of a financial scam here. One of the stars of the reality show Shark Tank says she was a victim of, they're calling it a phishing scam, but really it's a digital con job. Barbara Corcoran says she was scammed out of nearly $400,000, so it was an expensive loss here. This is what happened. Last week, her bookkeeper received an email about an invoice, and it appeared to be from Corcoran's assistant, a trusted source, approving payment for a real estate renovation. Corcoran said she was not suspicious because she's got a lot of money and she invests in lots of real estate, and she does this kind of thing all the time. So
she's worth $80 million. Now, again, somebody reached out to her assistant and said, I'm the bookkeeper. You need to pay this bill.
Wired the money, and the lesson learned is that money, if it doesn't go to the intended recipient, you can't get it back. So they call this a phishing scam, but what it really is a con job, and it nearly happened to me as well. What happens is,
I remember you talking about
fraudsters,
this.
you're trying to buy a house, fraudsters hack in to someone you trust's account, like your lawyer or a real estate agent, and then they impersonate the people you trust, and they say, oh, by the way, that payment, it's due right now. Here's the wiring instructions.
You almost sent the money.
We almost sent the money. We were moments away. If not for a final check that the bank did, not us, we would have been completely taken, and that money is gone. You're not getting it back.
But it's so good that Barbara Corcoran is speaking about it, and that you were speaking about it, because you can see how easily it could happen. You look at an email quickly, and if it's off by one digit, I wouldn't notice.
It would have been the difference between getting a house and not getting a house in this loss if it had gone through. And so the lesson is, if you are wiring money, whatever the amount is, call the intended recipient, because you can't falsify a phone call. Call them up and say, hey, just confirming that you sent me this email and that the money is going to you.
Yeah, you can't be embarrassed or think it's a stupid with two O's moment, because that really could happen to anybody.
It's even more embarrassing when you send them the money, when the wrong person the money.
That's absolutely true.
Personally, well, you had the deal with Mr. Zimmer and Jacqueline. Remember that? That was was a person trying to scam her. That was pretty basic, but he obviously didn't get away with it. But I did find out that someone did, in fact, send Mr. Zimmer money. I don't know if it's the same exact thing, but the person, Mr. Zimmer, had that ad out on Facebook Marketplace, Facebook Help Wanted, in where I live, my community. And that's how Jacqueline responded to that ad. Well, one of the people that she knows in her circle of people must have also responded to that, but actually went through with it. And holy shit, it's everywhere you turn. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at my email, and there's been a Apple purchase for something that I didn't buy. And it's subtly written, if you didn't purchase this, please contact us. And that's what they want. They want to get your feet moving. They want to get you to talk to them, or they want to get you to click on something. And I didn't buy it, and it didn't, and money wasn't taken out. But they lead you to believe that something has happened that you didn't purchase, which makes you a little bit anxious. And then you're going to reveal something that then will get you to be spending money that you didn't intend. There's that, and then there's constant emails from Bank of America. Security has been breached. It's like, yeah, sure it has. Yeah, and this is how this works. Come on. And then phishing scams, when it's like an email from somebody and it says, click here. Hey, Eric, I got to show you this. And it's like from someone I know. And those are all very, very basic and been around for a long, long time. But you'd be surprised. They're still working. I especially get scared of the elderly. Like my parents, I don't want them on a computer. I want them to give everything back. I don't want you to have access to those things because at a weakened state, which they are, they can fall victim to that, and it's just sickening, horrible. Okay, tell me what you think about this. I'm going back and forth on it, and I guess I'll just wait until we all hear the story together. Chick goes into a store, kid puts on a pair of pants at Target, and there's a needle, the parents say, that has poked the child that is in the pocket of the pants. And now they're suing Target. Okay, take a listen to more of the details.
Now there's all this anxiety about what should be normal everyday activities.
Jessica Fair says it has to do with the needle her stepdaughter found in the pocket of a pair of Target jeans.
She was just kind of hysterical, saying something had poked her. She wasn't sure what was going on and just kind of really confused.
It was this hypodermic needle that the Fairs say poked and scraped the girl's hand and leg as she tried on the pair of pants.
It's just one of those moments as a parent that you're trying to comfort somebody, but you need to be comforted because you don't really know what's going on either.
The girl's father says that Target did not handle the situation properly thereafter.
The lack of response from Target, the lack of anybody calling to give us an idea what's next.
So they talked to Grand Rapids attorney Tim Seeger, who filed a negligence lawsuit earlier this year in Kent County Circuit Court. Seeger says this case is unlike anything he's ever seen.
It's stressful, it's anxiety-ridden. I don't know how I would react, much less a 12-year-old girl.
The Fairs say it's something they don't want to see happen to any other child.
I know how you'd react. You're going to react happy when you get that settlement from this big company.
It's impacted their daughter on a daily basis.
And it's hard to explain to her that this isn't common and this, there's a likelihood it'll never happen again. And we can't tell her that.
And we did reach out to Target for comment, but they have not yet responded to our request. However, their law team has moved this case to federal court. Juliet.
Thank you, Emma.
Okay. So you're telling me Dad consulted a lawyer when he felt that Target's response wasn't up to speed. It wasn't good enough. I don't know. Well, I guess the question I would have is what type of response were you looking for? Were you looking for, hey, we're going to take care of this. We're going to make sure that since this happened in our store, that any testing that is done any type of medical care that needs to be taken care of to make sure that there was nothing wrong with that needle so that your child is sick. We're on top of that. Would that have done it? You said the child is suffering from some type of anxiety. We can help you with regard to that. Is that what you're looking for? And would that have, I guess my question is, would that have made this not a consultable with a lawyer moment? Would you have not consulted a lawyer had they done this? I think that's a question that needs to be asked, and I often wonder why these reporters don't ask those questions. It's a perfectly good question and a fair question. Why? What were you hoping to? What was your hope for the response from Target? And if you can then tell me specifically what you were, I think that can put the parents in a better light. But until I hear that, this seems like a money grab to me. So I think that they didn't do themselves any favors by reaching out to the TV station without specifics as to what they were hoping to have happen to them. And I can't tell you how many times first of all, what is Target? How is this Target's fault? If there was a needle in the pocket, how is that Target's fault? It's their pants, but what do you want them to do? So I'm a little confused on that, and a little confused on the reaching out to the news station and then really nothing being said as to what you wanted to happen. What I'm getting at, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious of that whole thing from beginning to end. And it comes from years now of people doing shit in the public eye and saying that, oh, yeah, there's a finger in my chili. So I don't know. I'm always suspicious of these. We'll see. Who knew that LSD could be so good for you? What? Yep. That's a thing. Don't forget about Paintball War 8 coming up in April with the Eric Zane Show podcast. That's the Spring Break Massacre. It's a matinee affair. That's right. April 9th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pizza party from Franco's to start. You and the kids who are on spring break get together with me, and we get it done. TC Paintball in Grand Rapids. You must reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, and let me know that you are attending the Spring Break Massacre. Mike Ball, I'm looking at you and your kids. I talked to Throat Slash Dale. I know that his kids are going to be there too. Awesome. Along with Dale and his bitching and crying that he does every time we play. Also, Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, key sponsor of the show. Oh, by the way, call TC Paintball at 616-249-8227 to book a party. At Irvine's, they work on domestic, Asian, BMWs, Minis, and Mercedes-Benz vehicles. They're in Grand Rapids, 3 blocks east of 131 off of 44th Street. Irvines.com. Hang on. Oh, boy. Irvines.com online. Their number is 616-202-5538. Thank you to them for sponsoring the Eric Zane Show podcast. All right. Where the hell is it now? The information I'm about to give you comes from some famous medical journal. And what you got here is a number of medical types have been reviewing cases where people took mega doses of LSD. And there's enough here in these studies, or in these incidents, I guess, that has opened the door for the consideration in the medical community that a massive hit of LSD can end up having excellent life-changing effects for people for all sorts of issues. Something as bad as bipolar disorder and side effects, debilitating side effects from Lyme's disease. Case number 1. 46-year-old woman thinks she's getting ready to do a normal dose of LSD. She ends up taking a mega dose accidentally 550 times the normal recreational dose of LSD. The article says she not only survived, but found that the foot pain she had suffered from since her 20s was dramatically reduced. Yeah, that's do a massive hit of acid, and hey, your foot pain goes away. How about that? The Good Feet store says, come get your LSD today. Separately, a 15-year-old girl with bipolar disorder overdosed on 10 times the normal dose of the drug, which she said resulted in a massive improvement in her mental health. Their experiences were detailed in case reports published in the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs last month. Along with that of a third woman who accidentally overdosed on LSD during the second week of pregnancy. She ultimately gave birth to a healthy son who's now 18 and has not shown any impaired development. Now, they do report that these experiences were exceptional. Exceptional means that they could have been flukes. It says their stories can help inform the resurgence of research into the use of psychedelic substances for the treatment of conditions such as addiction, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety, the researchers believe. The details of each case study came from interviews with the individual women. The 49-year-old woman had contracted Lyme disease in her early 20s, which damaged her feet and ankles and left her in significant pain. In September of 2015, she took 55 milligrams, holy shit, of what she believed was coke, but was actually pure LSD in powder form. The authors defined a normal recreational dose of LSD as 100 micrograms, equal to 0.1 milligram. She took 55 milligrams when she's supposed to take 0.1 milligrams of LSD. How did this not kill her? Can you not die from an overdose? I mean, seriously, 50, that's 550 times. That's just like they said. I don't know why I'm repeating what they said. She blacked out. I picture, who was that? That scene in Pulp Fiction when she did all the heroin, when she snorted the heroin. What was her name again? Uma Thurman, her character, and then Travolta did the boom. Or Eric Stoltz. You got to stab her in the chest with it. Awesome scene. Woman blacked out and vomited frequently for the next 12 hours. But then she reported feeling, quote, pleasantly high for the 12 hours after that, still puking, but less often. So she's like sitting in a chair with a bucket next to her. Hey, how you doing? Oh, not bad. I actually feel pretty good. I'm coming around. It's getting better. According to her roommate, I'm not making that up, by the way, she sat mostly still in a chair, either with her eyes open or rolled back, occasionally speaking random words. 10 hours later, she was able to hold a conversation and seem coherent. Her foot pain was gone the next day, and she stopped using morphine for 5 days, and then the pain did return, though. She was able to control it with a lower dose of morphine and a microdose of LSD every 3 days. There was a scene in one of the Cheech and Chong movies when Tommy Chong says, "You just took the biggest hit of acid I've ever seen. You just ate more acid than I've ever seen anybody eat in my whole life." It's a great reference. No one gets it. After more than 2 years, in January 2018, she stopped using both morphine and LSD and reported no withdrawal symptoms. Crazy CNN article, and there's a typo. It says LCD. I talked about this yesterday. Every single web article, there's a typo. How do you do that? Just read the damn thing before you publish it. Of course, I do that too. but it's ericzaneshow.com. Who cares? Let's see. She, after more than 2 years in January 2018, she stopped using both morphine and LSD and reported no withdrawal symptoms. Although the case report said she did experience an increase in anxiety, depression, and social withdrawal. Yeah, everybody's got that. Who cares? The case studies were compiled by Mark Hayden, Executive Director of Canada's Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. What a great group. And an adjunct professor at the University of British Columbia School of Population and Public Health. And Brigitte Woods, a psychiatrist in Vancouver. They noted that in the case of this woman, ingestion of 515 times the normal recreational dosage of LSD was not fatal and had positive effects on pain levels and subsequent morphine withdrawal. So basically, if you give yourself like an atom bomb of LSD, if you can make it through the blackouts and the puking and all that shit, it's going to be good for your soul. The authors note in the study that no lethal doses of LSD have been documented. So I guess there haven't been times when people have killed themselves because of LSD. I did not know that. I thought that was a thing, but apparently not. Although they said scientists have estimated that a lethal dose in humans would be 14,000 micrograms. So I don't know how that, I can't do the math in my head comparing that to the woman. For the 15-year-old who had overdosed on 10 times the normal LSD at the summer solstice party in June 2000, the experience led to a dramatic change in her mental health. After that happened, the hallucinations passed. She visited her dad visited her in the hospital, and she said, "It's over." When he thought his daughter was referring to the overdose, she said, "No. I mean my bipolar disorder. I'm normal." Like that simple. That quick. She was free from all mental illness symptoms, bipolar or other, for 13 years until she gave birth and experienced postpartum depression. Uh-oh, so that's back. Then you know, like, oh shit. The father of the baby's like, "Oh my God, get her some LSD quick." He's got like a candy jar full of it. "Eat this." I can't take it anymore. My God. Who knew? In another medical malady, shocking miracle of I guess it would be health. This woman's bladder was full of alcohol. Her urine was full of alcohol. Turns out her bladder was its own brewery. Doctors tried to treat a woman with cirrhosis of the liver for alcohol use disorder when she came in looking for a liver transplant after results showed her urine was full of alcohol. The problem? She never drank. Medical professionals at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine discovered that the 61-year-old woman wasn't trying to hide an alcohol use disorder, but had a rare medical condition called auto brewery syndrome, or ABS. There you go. That's a new idea for a new founder's beverage. You can drink the beer piss. Just hook a tap up to this lady's privates, and you can just drink right from it. Yeah, at Founders, we're woke. And we're here to help this lady with auto. In the wake of all the legal shit we went through in the past year, we are so woke that we are helping this lady with her auto brewery syndrome. We have installed a Founder's tap onto this lady's pee hole, and you can come and drink from her urine bladder, her beer bladder today. That might be the dumbest joke sequence I've ever made. In a case study published in the Peer Review Annals of Internal Medicine, doctors said yeast in her bladder fermented sugar to produce ethanol because of poorly controlled diabetes.
You got type 1 diabetes!
They propose calling the phenomenon urinary autobrewery syndrome, or bladder fermentation syndrome. It's a delicious sounding disorder. The study's authors made the distinction from traditional autobrewery syndrome, also known as gut fermentation syndrome. My God. Because patients with this medical condition produce alcohol in their gastrointestinal system. You know what? This keto diet, They say that it was a guy who just claimed that he was drunk. He screwed up a breathalyzer test because of the ketones on his breath, and that is a byproduct of your diet. It can make a false positive. That can actually happen. But this lady, holy shit, her bladder is producing alcohol. My God, dietary modification should have helped. The patient declined to give any details on her current condition. Well, you can't do that. If you come asking for help, you got to reveal to the world what happened. Come on now. All right. What the hell does that say? I can't even read what the hell I was going to talk about. Oh, I get it now. I can see it. I just can't read the writing. Do you remember the story I talked to you about the guy who ate Kevin Bacon's balls? Mark Latunsky? All right, I got an update on the ball eater's home. That to wrap up the podcast in just a bit. Kent County Health Department, call them at 616-632-7100. Find out today is the last, tomorrow's the last day of February, Dental Health Awareness Month. If you're one of the 60,000 homes in Kent County without fluoride in your water, you can get your kids, especially small kids, teeth fluoride varnished today just by calling 616-632-7100. Now, you get this free if you qualify. So if you're kind of like maybe in a less than ideal setting financially and you do want your kids' teeth protected but you can't afford that, they're gonna pay for that. Okay, that's what they do. 616-632-7100, but you must qualify, and there are things that you have to be going on. You have to be receiving WIC, for example, to be able to take advantage of that. Kent County Health Department, 616-632-7100. Just saw Joe Martinez the other day over at the gym. He was pumping iron, relieving some stress after installing humidifiers at a greatly reduced rate because you mentioned me to him. 616-516-8579 for Joe Martinez. What was $615? You mentioned me. You get that humidifier for $515. You get a full furnace install. The humidifier is free. You're an active or retired military member or a senior citizen, mention my name. You're getting 15% off the bill. Thank you, Joe Martinez from A&E Heating and Cooling. The Ball Eater's home in Shiawassee County, Michigan, near Flint. That's a nice-looking place. The Ball Eater had some home style. And, it's complete with a hidden room. And a lot of people thought that the grisly past for this home that Mark Latunsky had that went to auction, that people would be scared away. This guy, Mark Latunsky, was found not competent to stand trial, which is just remarkable. If you haven't been following the story, the dude, Kevin Bacon is his name. I know that's weird too because it's the same name as the dude, the actor. Went out looking for like quick gay sex on Grindr, which people do. And I can't believe that anybody would do this, either on what's the other one called? Tinder or Grindr. I can't believe that people just meet for random sex like that. I could never, ever do that. There is so much that can go wrong with these scenarios. Case in point, this guy's dead, and his balls were gnawed off by this crazy son of a bitch. Well, this insane serial killer, Latunsky, was found incompetent. And what is just sickening, he's going to wind up in some type of medical facility where they're going to treat him. And from what I'm understanding, if his brain responds to the treatment, Mark Latunsky can be out shopping for a new home in a few years or whatever. This is not okay. So there was a hidden room inside of that home where he strung the dead guy up and then, ate his balls off. And the cops showed up, and dude's there, and they're, oh, God, can you believe this? Can you imagine those poor cops, what they have to deal with? I could never do that either. The stress that you witness, the terrible things that you see causing post-traumatic stress, awful. All right, so then the dude's locked up. Family's mourning, terrible thing. What to do with this home? Went to foreclosure. They're auctioning it off. Damn it. It's a really good-looking house, too. It's got these really impeccable-looking arches in the front. It's not too big. And so you're thinking, well, there's no way that anybody's going to buy this house. A grisly past did not stop a Michigan home from selling to the highest bidder at auction. The house on West Terrell Road in Shiawassee County, where police say dude was murdered and cannibalized. Accused killer Mark Latunsky owned the home and fell into foreclosure. You can't really make your payments if you're in prison. What did this guy do to pay for the house? What was his line of work? I hope he wasn't like a butcher or something like that. He allegedly killed bacon in the home's basement back in December. The home went for $21,000 over the minimum asking price. So they're actually like, I can raise that. I can. $102,000 that home went for. That's a bargain, though. But oh, God, I cannot imagine buying that. And somebody reached out to me because I talked about this earlier, that do you have to disclose that there was some ball consumption and a murder and ball consumption that took place in that room? And you do. You do have to tell the buyer that. Would you buy that house? If so if he bought it for $102,000, I don't know how much need there is to flip this thing, because again, it looks pretty good. Other than maybe call Stanley Steamer to clean the murder room. How the hell can you expect someone to buy this thing? I couldn't do that. I believe in ghosts, and I don't want this the ghost of Kevin Bacon walking around looking for nuts while I'm sitting there trying to do a podcast, and all of a sudden there's some dude's ghost next to me with no balls. Jesus. All right, my time is short. I do want to say that the folks at Blue Frost IT continue to do great things. The managed IT service provider for the podcast. BlueFrostIT.com. Call West Michigan's newest power couple, Allen and Ashland, at 616-200-8550. If you need IT support for your small and medium-sized business, okay? If you get in the weeds, you call them. Or just remember, Blue Frost IT. Finally, the sign maker for the show. All these signs, which I'm told the signs are going away. I think the Wrecking Crew, the Eric Zane Show Wrecking Crew, is getting back in business. The rumor on the street is the Wrecking Crew is getting back together, and I'm not going to know about it, and they're going to come walking in here, and they decided that I need an update to the room. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but I can't stop them. And I think that they're going to make it so that all these signs disappear, and that over my shoulder is going to be like a TV screen with a rotating scroll of all of these great sponsors, which is, I'm fine either way. Whatever you guys want to do. If that's what you feel like doing, I'm all about it. But anyway, the ones who made me those signs is a company called Applied Imaging in Grand Rapids. Applied_imaging.com, I think, is their website. Their phone number is 800-521-0983. If you need a sign made like one of these, that's who you call. 800-521-0983. Okay? Are you happy? Do you think we did okay? Reviews, comments, whatever you like, please drop me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Can you throw me 5 stars and give me a review on there? That would be nice, too, on Apple Podcasts, CastBox, whatever you leave reviews on, whatever your podcasting platform. If you could leave me a nice review. I've gotten a ton of good ones lately. It's just been fantastic. I'm so happy with the reviews. And they really do help, by the way, when you throw 5 stars at me and give me a nice review. It really does help. Not only does it make your fragile-minded, friendly neighborhood Eric Zane feel good about himself, it pumps some encouragement and wind in my sails. And people see that, and they go, shit, hey, maybe I should listen to this podcast, too. So that's what it is. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. The Patreon is next, where we will talk about some more things going on in the world. More podcasting yet to come. I got to get a cup of coffee. It's a Friday. Or whenever you happen to be listening to this, I don't know. Thanks, folks. Talk to you down the road.